All right, what's up, everyone? How are y'all doing?
I'm
Hello,
good. How are
hello.
you?
Welcome to another edition of Style Speak. Unfortunately, Rowan isn't able to join us tonight, but we are here. We're going to still make this happen. We are diving right into the powerful, much needed conversation about the revolution of Black fashion. But before we jump in, I'm excited to have this conversation tonight with you two special guests joining us to share just what helps you guys create, what helps you guys be the influencers you are, and create the legacy y'all are the blueprint of the legacy you guys are doing in Black fashion right now, impacting the fashion industry, and I'm sure it has made a lot of influence when it comes to fashion in the past, present, and future. So first, I want to introduce you guys. First, we have Ladarius, which is the designer and stylist for Hemline. Can I get you to say a few words?
Hey, everybody. I'm just excited to have this discussion tonight. Especially throughout the course of my journey right now.
Great. You are definitely a visionary designer who reflects the richness of Black culture, blending timeless elegance with modern influence. And next we have LaQuisha Boyce from L Boyce Designs. She is a powerful designer who designs celebrate heritage, innovation, and definitely is bold in telling a story in fashion. Welcome.
Hello, everybody. It's great to be here tonight to have this discussion at this time of inter- I don't want to say it word. It's just great to be here, ready to have this topic, this conversation.
Yes, well, let's get started with the basics. What does the revolution of Black fashion mean to you? Let's start with Hemline.
All right. So, the revolution of Black fashion goes way back to the Harlem Renaissance with the historical influences that we've had that we started before then up until the current time through the civil rights era. It was like a form of protest through the bold hair statements, the textiles that they wore, and just you knew that you understood that they knew business, and they wasn't playing any games just from their wardrobe alone.
Wonderful. And boys,
Okay,
what
repeat the
what
question for me.
what does revolution of Black fashion mean to you?
Um, I I take it where it's when it's dealing with fashion that we get to express ourselves in that level of whether if it's in streetwear or haute couture or avant-garde, we get to express not just emotionally, but how we view um, what's taking place.
Great. Historically, Black fashion has been more than just clothes. It's been a resistance, a resilience, a form of identity. What do you guys think are some most iconic moments in Black fashion history?
Ooh, I don't know if I could choose a moment, but I can say an era that I refer to a lot when I'm designing would be the 70s. That's just like the high glam, the Diana Rosses of the world. You could smell those girls from miles away. You can just it just they just exude everything it meant to be fabulous and powerful.
Love that. And boys, what
And
do you call is one of the most iconic moments in Black fashion history?
So if when it comes down to my fashion, I'm into the royalty limelight. So I think of Cleopatra, Sheba, you know, more like Renaissance Egyptian queens. Anybody from that era, any type of queen, rather if you were Queen Sheba or if you was Queen Mother of the House, Grandma, um, Mama. So I really don't have a specific era. I just like to highlight the woman in doing powerful moves. It could be a lawyer, a producer, just someone in the limelight producing and looking well doing it.
Great. Now let's talk about influence. Black designers and stylists have shaped global fashion trends for decades, yet they don't always get the credit that they deserve. What are some ways the industry is evolving and what still needs to change?
Mhm.
I could say that let's start with the change first. I could say the first step in the change could be um, getting more investors. We lack investors, people who want to invest in black designers. They just would choose anybody else other than us simply because we walk in our power, we walk in our truth.
Yeah.
And then another challenge we could face would be like maybe cultural appropriation and
Mhm.
the gatekeeping of just high fashion.
Right.
Mm, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Did
you
that
hit it
answer
on
your
the nail.
question?
You totally agree, Air Boys?
Yeah, I totally agree. Um, where we will wear a quick, and I'm not downing any high fashion or whatever, but we'll wear a quick Louis Vuitton before we wear a hemline or L boy, And I feel like if we had the backing the way they back their brand and wear their brand, and we had that type of investment within our business, then you can evolve and or change. There is a lot of changes that need to be done, but I do believe that we need to first change us, and that's something I'm working on with even with my brand is how to elevate my brand, but it's knowing who you are and what you want. Because we're gonna go and do it up, work another job, a 9 to 5, before we try to increase our own brand. And I believe it starts to change. Actually, starts with us first, and then we can elevate. But I agree with Ladarius on that.
Definitely. Definitely. So going into um evolving, how the industry is evolving, something just came up appear that the Met Gala this year is choosing to go in the direction of culture influence, black designers. This year the Met Gala theme is the Black Dancing theme, and we know that the
Mhm.
Met has been a huge stage for designers to showcase their artistry. Do you feel like the Met Gala gives enough recognition to Black designers and cultural influence?
No.
No, I would say no because for one, you can never get enough recognition from a person for your gift. That would be one, and the next one, I would say the second main reason would be the whoever is wearing the garment gets more recognition than the designer, and that
Exactly.
we're getting no profit from that. You look amazing, and even the ones you do have a few here and there that name drop the designers, but they're still more interested in who's wearing what versus what they are wearing or who they are wearing.
Yeah,
Um,
I totally agree again. Um, I believe that, especially if you're a really named celeb, you're more to say, oh, they might ask the question, so who are you wearing tonight? And before they say that, they'll say, oh, it's style by blah blah blah. But who was the designer? Um, and that's okay. But at the end of the day, are we just borrowing the outfit, or did you actually pay for it? You know, and then why not recognize the designer?
You-
You're not gonna pay for it, at least recognize them.
You're right. You do often see, um, on your style blog or your red carpet appearance that they do focus more on the celebrity that is wearing the piece versus the designer. So you are very much correct on that. What are some things you think we can do better when it comes to acknowledging the designer?
Um, that was the tough one. I think she should answer that one first so I can feed off of her.
What was the set of question one more time?
What are some things you think we can do better in giving the designer that exposure versus putting that emphasis and focus on who's wearing it?
Well, we're you're actually doing what you're doing right now as far as doing the fashion shows. I know people don't really say, okay, the fashion show is not this person, blah blah blah. But I think this is the start of acknowledging designers, and we're doing more interviews and marketing and branding would be first, getting us out there. And the best way we gotta do is keep pushing ourselves out there. Um to get that type of acknowledgement, because I do know a couple of designer friends who are actually out there. Their work is there, it speaks for itself. Um, but we have to keep putting in the work.
Right. Definitely have to. Do you think black designers? Well, I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this, but I'm sure as a collectively we feel like black designers do have to work harder and get in there and work out there.
Yeah, and that's just
Yeah,
an aspect
yeah,
of life. We always have to prove ourselves, and we
yeah.
don't do it every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
If you could
Yeah.
style a black icon for the Met Gala, who would it be and what would they wear?
So right now, I would say I'm fascinated with Tim's, the artist. Um, so with this one, I had to write this down because it's my vision, and I didn't want to lose track of it. So I wrote down. I said a velvet tailcoat with an exaggerated lapel, high waisted trouser with a ruffled silk shirt. I don't feel that she's exposed a lot. She looks amazing, but I don't really see her in a suit. I don't know anybody who kind of just doesn't like a suit. A suit does it. It just brings so much. It makes a woman look like she has superpowers when she's in a suit, and I
Mhm.
just would love to embrace her in her power.
Mm,
I like that.
me
I would
too.
I would say I would dress Nico. Um because of her songs and her music. She actually speaks of who she is. She doesn't tell you she's a human. She understands that she's here to do her work. And I would put her in layers and layers of organza, because she's a spiritual singer that actually gets you involved. Like, if you listen to her music, she knows that she's a spiritual being here. So I like layers of Tool, and I would put probably iridescent layers, only because of how she sings and she's inviting and she gets to you. And another one would probably be India Ari. I know you said one, but Indiari, and I'll put her in green for energy and growth.
I,
She's a naturalist. I like her.
I love that. I love that. All right. When we go back to culture and the impact on designers, fashion and culture go hand in hand, and Black culture has influenced everything from streetwear to couture. How do you personally incorporate cultural elements into your designs?
I would say through self-expression and textiles. We look amazing in anything we put on. We can throw on the bed sheet, and we can do the bare minimum and just expression and textiles. We look amazing in anything we put on. We can throw on the bed sheet,
Yeah.
and we can do the bed. Okay, there we go.
There we
We
go.
do the bed. Oh yeah, there we go. But yeah, yeah, just through personal expression and textiles, and just I'm a reference guy. I like to refer to different eras when working on certain collections or certain projects to bring that historical element and that cultural element.
Mhm.
I like incorporating the textiles into. I feel like that brings back that historic cultural factor in pieces. Taking us back to the past, incorporating. How
Well,
about
I really don't do too much of. I don't focus really on era. I focus on what's the energy at that moment or what's the theme, and kind of just flow in, just go with the flow. I just, it's just like a me and a God moment. Like I bring that inner God out and create whatever, just go with the flow. Like this one we got coming up called The Purge. I got
right?
so much to purge about. So I just get into that character or that time frame and just go with whatever comes out. See where we go from there.
So yeah, you use basically what's inspiring you at that moment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, great, great. So for aspiring designers and creatives watching, what advice would you give them about making their mark in an industry that hasn't always been the most inclusive?
I would definitely say own your story, walk in your power. Your perspective is your superpower. Um, Heavy on the networking, and protect your work because I mean they've always stole our work, or just designers they always copy this. And stay prayed up.
I would say don't be afraid. Do it. If that's what I had a moment just recently where I wanted to create this piece, didn't know how to do it, and I almost detoured from doing it, and it became a beautiful masterpiece at the end because I had someone to tell me, do it. If that's what you feel, just do it. And having that little oomph of just doing it, I created it, and I didn't even know how to do it, and I done it. So I like, if you that's what you feel, do it.
I love that. What are some ways that you guys are making your mark in the industry? Like, how do you get your brand out there? How do you get your designs featured and give exposure to what you guys are doing?
Honestly, I could say every time I walk out, every time I leave this door and walk out, I'm always put together. I'm always walking around branding. If you compliment me on my outfit, I'm gonna let you know what I do. And even if you just don't say anything to me, you know, you know I look good when you see me and you walk by, and that's just I'm always just a core memory in somebody's head. So I'm always just walking around in my brand, whether it's my garments or I styled myself for that day. You'll never see me looking any kind of way.
Okay. I think Amber might have fell off. I love that. Is that one of the tips that you would give to to the other inspiring designers, individuals that are interested in tapping into this industry, that just don't know, where to begin with even getting their brand out, getting exposure to their designs. Is that definitely one of the tips you would give is, be your walking billboard?
Yes, for me, I would say that would be number one. Most of the time, people don't know my name, but they know that if I'm coming somewhere, I'm putting it on. I'm gonna be together. I'm gonna be right and presentable, and I'm gonna be the best looking one in the room. Most of the time. But that's just like going to a barber, or a hairstylist, or makeup artist, and you see them looking a mess. You're not gonna believe in their work if the presentation isn't there.
Correct. You're right. That's a part of being that influence,
Hmm.
that icon. And I can say that you are definitely making your mark. I've seen the things that you have um, evolved in areas. You are definitely being more front and center. You've been featured in Sheen Magazine. You've been doing a lot of big exposure runway events. So you are definitely leaving your mark. And as you announce that you are, every time I see you, you are red carpet ready.
Hmm.
That speaks volumes, especially when you talk about influence.
Right.
So just as a recap, going back, you brought up something really, really good when we talked about recognition of Black designers and cultural influence. Um, can you share with them again what are some Black designers and cultural influence now that we are on the Instagram platform that you feel like have shaped not only you but Black fashion history?
Um, I would say to name a few of my favorites. I would say the top dog would be as a designer would be Andre. I mean Andre Leon Talley, and as far as the styling world, I would have to give that to Law Roach. Those would be the top tier examples and references to current trends, to their expressions in the culture, and just showing up all around and taking over.
I love that. So when it comes to Hemline, what can we expect to see from Hemline for 2025 and 2026?
Um, Now I'm not gonna say much 2026. We only on the second month of 25, and we see how it's so I'm gonna stay right here where I am right now. I'm not gonna go there. I ain't going too far. But
Okay.
I would say you're definitely going to see more of me and who I am as I learn and grow and evolve through the mentorship programs that I'm in currently to this day, um, through my other mentor, Law Roach. I'm currently enrolled in his program right now. We'll be wrapping up next month. So I'm definitely evolving as a designer and a stylist and learning how to separate the two. So you'll see more production. I'm sorry, you'll see me produce more, and just show up in the room
I I love that. We look forward to seeing more of you in the room. Now, as we talked about culture and how do you feel social media and digital fashion plays a part? Is that definitely going to be a game changer for Black creatives? There we go. All right. So we were just on the question of right now, social media, digital fashion culture plays a big part. Do you feel like that has changed the game for Black creatives?
Yes. You talking to me, right?
Yes, I'm talking to you.
Okay. Yeah, I would say yes. Social media gives you the access to just be direct, more direct with your consumer. It's no more third parties, no more guessing. If they like it, they love it, they'll make you a viral moment, and you could either be, it's always with fashion is here today, gone tomorrow, but you could just cherish the viral moment and the access that you have to the people now when it comes to social.
Right. I feel as though social media does play a great part in giving exposure to a lot of Black designers. By
Mhm.
us being a Fashion Week production, we do see a lot of industry individuals, such as minorities, on platforms such as Instagram, TikTok, a lot of different various social media platforms, um, and that's how we find them. That's how we find we scout out designers to invite to be a part of our production, our showcase. Also, we see through our network family where models may tag designers, and we encourage that within the network is give exposure to the designer of the pieces you're wearing. We encourage that on our platform because we feel like social media is a great marketing to give Black creatives such as yourself exposure. So I feel like it's very very essential to a marketing platform for a designer right now. Well, when it comes to challenges, what challenges do Black designers continue to face, and how can we break down those barriers?
Um, I would say just the things that we have access to, we don't really have access to the investments, the grants, the mentorships that we need. Um, and I would say just in cultural appropriation. But I would say a solution could be legal protections, like protect your work, protect yourself, and just keep going and keep trying.
Um, Online,
Yes.
who taught you, or what were you provided growing up as a minority in your community, in your setting, that really gave you an influence in this craft? Did you teach yourself? Was this something you was exposed to in school? Did someone in your family was a designer or so? Or how did this come about for you?
I've always aspired to be a designer. If if I could have started much sooner, I would have been a lot more further in my creativity. But just my image has always been, one of the most important things to me. So I would always dress myself when when my parents, either wanted to or what have you. And then as I got older, I realized, hey, I really want to be a designer. And I was maybe in like high school instead of just styling, putting looks together. I want to create. So my one of my science teachers, Miss Smith, God rest her soul, she initially taught me the beginning steps on how to sew, and then House of Yore here in Charlotte. He also kind of just after he saw what I could do.
All right, I think we may have timed out for a second, so we'll give Hemline an opportunity. His service is lagging a little bit to jump in, and then we're going to take questions and answers from the audience. Um, if you have any questions, drop your questions in the chat, and we would definitely be able to answer those once he come back on. We hope you guys are taking notes, especially if you are a minority designer that is on tonight. We are talking about the revolution of Black fashion and how Black designers can make their mark in the industry and what some barriers and challenges that they face also. And let's create conversation on what we can do to overcome those barriers and what organizations like Farmer Fashion Week and Beyond the Scene in Carolina Urban Fashion Week and multiple fashion weeks and organizations can do to provide resources and assist our diverse designers in overcoming those barriers. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right. So, do we have any questions and answers for our designers tonight? Feel free to drop those in the chat. Those that are on YouTube and Instagram, please, you can drop them in the chat and we can ask our guests. I think everyone's phone has died. So L Boys had to get off. She is at work. She had to handle something tonight. So we will definitely make sure if you have a question that's directed towards her, we will get that question to her and we will definitely keep you updated on the answer to that via our social media platforms. I think everyone's device may have died. Okay, so this is Touch wasn't there. Touch wasn't there wants to know, how do you feel about the diversity in Greenville Fashion Week? All right. How hard has it been trying to get your designs into Greenville Fashion Week? As a minority designer and creator. Let's see what any of our designers have to say about that. This is for L Boys and Hemline. When you ever design a children's clothing line, a clothes for children? That is a great question, because as we feature runway productions, we do find that there is a scarce amount of designers that offer designs for children. So often when you're doing children's shows, we have a ton of interest of models that are kid models, but often finding runway apparel for them to wear is challenging. So one of the great questions we could turn around and ask from that is, why is it less designers designing children apparel? Is there not a demand for that? Great questions. Morgan Rock. This is for a hemline. How do you define success, and what pivotal moment brought you to the most joy in your career? Great question, Morgan. L Boys, your themes and concepts are so creative. What sparks your creativity? Now, Morgan, she did share with us before she had to leave off that um, whatever is she is dealing with at the moment inspires her pieces during that specific time. But we definitely make sure we would get a um, inclusive answer for that, because we would love to know what actually sparks her creativity on a continuous basis. Let's see. Great job. And to answer, great job tonight with the designers. We had so much fun. To answer the question about Tasha wasn't there, to Touche wasn't there. As far as Smart Fashion Week, we focus on creating an exclusive, empowering platform for all designers, especially those within the Black fashion community. Our mission is to celebrate creativity, culture, and talent, providing opportunities for designers to showcase their work in front of industry professionals, major brands, and an engaging audience. So, despite race, culture, background, we do not discriminate. As to what other Fashion Week productions does, we cannot speak on. While we can't speak on the operation of other fashion weeks, we can say that Smart Fashion Week is committed to fostering a space where diversity thrives and designers are valued for their artistry and their vision. Our goal is to create a platform for all to embrace culture, innovation, and authentic storytelling through fashion, which encourages us to connect with you guys. We want to create a platform to where we give exposure to definitely the underserved designers and the designers that have already have a customer, consumer, and platform base. Equal platform. So I hope that answered your questions from our perspective, but definitely we will keep you in tune to what our guests had to say. Any more questions? Oh, that's okay, Morgan. We would definitely make sure L Boys and Hemline answer your questions that you asked tonight, even if it is a post that we post on the platform. We will make sure we answer your questions. Could they post their Instagram so it can be followed? Yes, K Swag. If you follow Summer Fashion Week page, if you look at the post that advertises the live tonight, they are tagged into their Instagrams are tagged into the post. And I know we had some of our network local community favorite Black designers on tonight, but definitely drop in the chat some of your comment in the chat, some of your most favorite Black designers that you love to see on the runway, on the big screen, or stylists, and share that with us because we would love to look at what they're out there doing and the difference they're making in giving inclusive exposure to the industry. I hate Hemline had a connection to where he wasn't able to get back on and connect with us, but we had an incredible conversation. I want to give a huge thank you to Hemline and L Boys for dropping some wonderful gems tonight. Definitely hope you guys took some notes. Be sure to follow them, support their brands. They are going to be featured in some of Smart Fashion Week shows this year. As El Boy said, she will be in the Purge show March 22nd, 7 p.m. in Spartanburg. If you have not gotten your tickets, get your tickets now. The Purge is going to be fire. You do not want to miss that show. We have some amazing designers lined up. Definitely be sure to connect. Follow us on Instagram if you do not. YouTube channel also. Definitely follow the brands that you saw tonight because they are truly pushing culture forward when it comes to Black designers and creatives. Before I want to remind you, stay connected with us. Follow us at Spartanburg Fashion Week for more updates, events, and conversations like this. And also, let me share with you, El Boys will be in Spartanburg June the 19th through the 20th. She is offering a sewing class with our nonprofit foundation, Beyond the Scene. We just posted the information. You can register for the class. This is the opportunity for anyone, all ages are invited to tap in, learn a craft that you may be interested in, fine tune a craft that you're already utilizing, get better, get that firsthand exposure to someone that is working with celebrities, featured in Paris Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week, have been to the Harlem Fashion Row designers class, you name it. So this is a great opportunity to connect with El Boys. June 19th through the 20th. Definitely sign up for this sewing course. It's going to be amazing. Sewing machines will be provided, or if you have one that you would like to bring, you definitely can bring your own. Thank you to everyone who tuned in tonight. Keep celebrating, supporting, and amplifying Black fashion. We'll see you next time on Style Speaks. Thank you for coming to join us tonight as we celebrate Black History Month with welcoming two Black great designers that are making a difference and leaving their mark in the industry. Good night.